Hey, I'm Neil. Welcome to Petrogy. If you like what you see, please tell your friends. If you'd like to support these videos, you can become a patron on Patreon, or you can follow me on Steemit, or you can subscribe on DTube. Comments, shares, likes, upvotes, responses, and resteems are all greatly appreciated. So first, sustainability. I've got an urban container garden, 30 to 40 containers. Primarily it's for working on my skills for saving seeds. We do get some stuff out of it, but it's more about the seeds than anything. Sunflowers, they're all wrapped up for the year. I'm currently harvesting seeds from those. Sweet potatoes are going strong. Beets look promising. The cucumbers and melons, they're slowing down. And the pole beans, carrots, corn, cabbage, they didn't work out so hot, so I'm going to try to do those in February, March, see if I can figure out how to grow those. Second, self-sufficiency. I haven't worked in the state of Arizona since 2008. I primarily do travel and remote, a lot of travel, up to about 90%. And I've discovered during the Las Vegas shooting last year that I really don't want to be doing that and being 3,000 miles away from home when those sorts of things are going on. If the balloon goes up, I want to be here. I'm currently engaged in a search for local and remote work, so we'll see how that goes. Third, on the preparedness front, last week I checked out meetup.com, found 4 groups here in the Phoenix area. I was wondering if any of you guys have any experience with these groups. Have you attended any of their meetups? Any information you can share with me. The group names: Arizona Preparedness, Mesa Are You Prepared, Off the Beaten Path Arizona, and Survival Rendezvous. The last one, I believe, is an inactive group. I don't see any activity in there since 2017. The other three, the first 3, were they looked like they had current activity on them. So on Nextdoor, over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of reports of attempted break-ins. There was some pervert about a week ago that was exposing himself to children walking to the local elementary school. There have been some graffiti and some break-ins as well. Everybody's been posting on Nextdoor, but nobody's doing anything. They're all waiting for someone else to do something. They're waiting on the police department to give them posters and set up some training for a neighborhood watch, or they're waiting for the HOA to set up armed security. People just really need to get off their backsides, get off social media and do something about it. We need to become more visible. We need to shine a light on these people so that they know if they come into our neighborhood, they're being watched, and 2, they're not welcome. The remnants from Tropical Storm Sergio, they're moving into Arizona. I think we're going to get about a ½ inch of rain on Saturday and Sunday. It's putting us on track for the second wettest October in record, but that's not a lot of water here in Arizona. It's also going to lower the temperatures a bit, probably low 80s, which will be nice, probably through middle of next week. So I'm not looking to do news or politics, but I do want to mention things that came up on my radar over the last week. So, end of world as we know it. I thought California was going to secede and leave us all alone, but it seems that they're trying to invade and push their agenda on us. We have a Proposition 127 for the next elections here. It would require most of the Arizona utilities to generate 50% of their electricity from renewable resources, such as solar and wind, by 2030. It's primarily funded and supported through a billionaire over in California. I think his name is Tom Steyer. Then on September 28th, there was on CBS News, they talked about a $3 billion project where they're hoping to turn the Hoover Dam into a giant battery. Basically what they want to do is they want to take 20 miles downstream, pump water back upstream into Lake Mead so they can run it back through the dam. All the construction for this is going to be on the Arizona side, and some of the big concerns, one, obviously water resources are pretty constrained between us and California and Nevada, and we're also seeing lower flows coming out of down the Colorado River. So if we're pumping all this water around, what's it going to do to places like Lake Havasu? What's it going to do to the fishing that's 30 miles down? And why is all the construction for this just on the Arizona side? So that's a big concern for me. So on Monday, the 1st of October, there was news from Newsweek about the UK sending 800 troops to the Arctic Circle to fend off approaching Russian aggression. On Thursday, the 4th of October, the news came out on Bloomberg about super micro motherboards that are being used by Apple and Amazon, that they can chain Chinese spy chips. As the week's gone on, I think the Australia DoD has them, and more places are saying that they've got these super micro motherboards. That is a mouthful. On Friday, the 5th of October, NATO announced that they're launching the largest drill since the Cold War on Russia's front doorstep. Sunday, the 7th of October, we had the SpaceX launch of the Falcon Heavy, the booster re-landing back at Vandenberg. We could see it here in Arizona. It was real fun to watch. We got some real good pictures. If you want to check those out on an earlier post. Facebook announced that there's a hoax going around where your friends are contacting you with a message saying that your account has been cloned, and it actually has not. Also, in the Ukraine, in Belarus, the president there said that he's going to arm every man, woman, and elderly person in case there's a war. On Tuesday, the 9th of October, we found out that Valley organizations here in Phoenix have been taking on immigrants from ICE. An ICE spokesman said ICE no longer has capacity. Not sure what that means going forward, but 2 nights in a row there have been stories about Valley organizations receiving asylum seekers. Also on Tuesday, the GAO says that Pentagon weapons are at risk of attack. That's the Government Accountability Office. They're saying that there's a major cybersecurity problem. I have to wonder if this somehow ties into the USS Fitzgerald or the USS McCain, some of the other Navy collisions that have been going on. Did those have something to do with cybersecurity, or even these Chinese spy chips that are out there? On Wednesday, the 10th of October, Hurricane Michael slammed into the Florida Panhandle as a Cat 4. If the wind speeds would have been 2 miles an hour more, it would have been a Cat 5. The storm surge for that hurricane peaked around 9 to 14 feet. It's just a good reminder for everybody about being prepared for natural disasters. The FBI director also came out and he told us that drone terror attacks are likely, and that comes on the heels of last Friday on the 5th of October, Congress passing a bill that lets authorities shoot down private drones. On Thursday, the 10th of October, Facebook purged another 800 accounts and pages for publishing political spam, for those of you still on that platform. On Wednesday and Thursday, stocks posted the worst 2-day stretch in 8 months. That news comes on the heels of former presidential candidate Ron Paul believes that the U.S. is barreling towards a recession of titanic proportions. The biggest bubble in the history of mankind is what he called it. F-35 jets were also grounded by the U.S. military, grounded the entire fleet. And that news comes on the heels of, on Tuesday, the 9th of October, Mattis ordered fighter jet readiness to jump to 80% in the next year. This next story I found interesting because it wasn't on any of the news. It was just online. You could find it. At 1 a.m. on Thursday, the AP reported that there was a park ranger shot a suspect at the Grand Canyon. Then today they came out with a correction that said while the ranger's weapon was fired, authorities said that the suspect's injuries were related to the scuffle that he had with the ranger. Now on to some real head scratchers. On Friday the 5th of October, police were investigating after a gun was reportedly found in the backpack of a 9-year-old girl down at Glendale American Elementary School. Supposedly she was dared by another student to bring the gun. On Saturday the 6th of October, there's been a lot of chatter out there about a large U.S. fleet off of Venezuela. We've also got China that has already sent humanitarian aid. They probably have ships out there. Kind of looks like things are getting tense in that area. But that's just chatter at this point. Nothing official coming out. News study said that 259 people have died while trying to take selfies. And then also that same day, there was a news story about is renting a friend safe? Apparently you can rent a friend online, and there's some safety concerns about that. Gee, that's a big surprise. On Tuesday the 9th of October, New York decided they were going to add a third gender to birth certificates. The new non-binary option will be labeled X. Not quite sure how that happens during a live birth, but I assume that's more for people that later on decide they want to identify as X. On Wednesday the 10th of October, there was a news story about Silicon Valley has a bunch of ventures out there for immortality. They're investing in anti-aging drugs. They're talking about people being 1,000 years old. Not sure what that does as far as the retirement age, or if you're going to have to work until you're 800 or 900. They're also looking into senescent cells, taking plasma from 16 to 25-year-olds. On Thursday, the 11th of October, heard a news story coming out of Mayo. This Dr. James Kirkland is working with these senescent cells, and he said that it would be these senescent cells would be ideal for people that could live to be 90 or 100 years old and feel like they're 50 or 60. So with all the political ads going on lately here in Arizona, it's gotten so bad. Yesterday, when I came home, as I was shutting off the car, there was a political ad for vote no on Prop 127, and then I walk in the door, and on the TV there's vote yes for 127. It's just a constant barrage. There is one ad that really got my attention this week. I'm going to show that to you, and then I've got some commentary on it.
Just a few years ago, Arizona had a $1 billion budget deficit. Today, the budget is balanced. Red tape eliminated. Major employers are coming to all parts of Arizona. We created hundreds of thousands of new jobs, and Arizona's unemployment rate is the lowest in a decade. The border is more secure, and our families are safer. We've done all this without raising taxes. A booming economy, a more secure border, a stronger Arizona.
So according to the Arizona Republican Party, today we've got a balanced budget. Even though we have an $8.8 billion financial hole as far as the amount of money it takes to pay bills for the state of Arizona. And I'm also wondering, why do we have a Prop 126 on the ballot coming up, where we want to prohibit the government from increasing taxes on services in the future? If we've got a balanced budget, why do we need to be adding more taxes? Why aren't we reducing taxes and reducing spending? The Arizona Republican Party also thinks that they've eliminated red tape. That is just B as in B, S as in S. Anybody who has had any dealings with the Arizona government or any government know that there is a lot of red tape involved in everything. Supposedly, they've also created hundreds of thousands of new jobs. Even though in the ad they said that it was new companies coming to Arizona that aren't here yet. So how have they created these hundreds of thousands of new jobs? Arizona's unemployment rate is the lowest it's been in a decade. Back in August, they passed a law where your unemployment benefits end at 4 weeks. So I'm wondering how many of these people are in just week 8 and they're no longer eligible for benefits. Also, they said that the border is now more secure. How's that possible? ICE is at capacity. I'm constantly seeing reports about hundreds and thousands of people at a time coming across the border illegally, and they're armed with rifles. I don't know how the border is more secure. And families are safer. This is, again, more BS. Year over year, the rate of violent crime per 100,000 people in Phoenix residents jumped from 674 in 2016 to 761 in 2017. I'm not sure where they're getting their data, but families aren't safer. You also heard what I just talked about next door in my local area. I'm not seeing it. Just a reminder for everybody, the second Arizona meetup is coming up on October 27th at 1400. Check out my earlier post for details. And also, thank you for watching, and good luck out there.